Oh, this be the craziest stuff. Alright, anyway. Bought this knife. I read it. I didn't realize it's an edge keeper. I keep doing this and thinking I'm sharpening it. It keeps the edge, so it hones the edge. That's not why you're here. Yeah, because Doc Flava is in the freaking building. It's been a while. How you been? Let me know how you been. Wait, wow, that's crazy. That happened? I can't hear you. It's alright though.
Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Just took me in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Hitting the licks in the band. Legacies.
Nah, my peoples, listen. Brisket. Mini peppers. Turkey bacon. Veggies. Seasonings. I got this on sale. It's an all-purpose barbecue. McCormick. I don't know what's going on with it. We're gonna see brown sugar, salt, spices, tomato, garlic, red bell pepper, onion, hickory smoke flavor, paprika. That might be right. Got this one too. A little garlic pepper with a little bell pepper in it. That's the only difference. Red bell pepper. Found these though. Pitmaster collection. You know I'm a pitmaster. I ain't. What? Yes, I am. Now, I'm coming here. I'm gonna start trimming this up. This ain't endorse me. I'm gonna turn that to the side. You can't see the label. Look at that right there. This is brisket untrimmed. Don't worry about the price. 16.91 pounds. By the time we done with this, that brisket is not gonna be nowhere close to 16 pounds. Probably gonna be like 13 pounds after everything we take off. So I want y'all to see me do a little trimming. I'm gonna leave it up to you how much trimming you want to do. And we're gonna go from there. Alright. So let's start off. Now, there's a big boy right here. I went to the other spot that had a flat brisket. Now, the flat brisket is really just this part of the brisket. This is called the point. Now, the point is the fatty part of the brisket. So when you get a moist, tender, juicy brisket, most of the time it's from the point. When they make burnt ends, they make it from the point. So if you ever go to the south, that's from the point, burnt ends. The flat is hard to cook with the point because the flat dries out. Because you see how skinny that part is compared to how fat that part is. Now what we're going to do right now is trim off some of the fat. You only want enough fat to continue to coat and base with the meat. Now I put my fat on the bottom. A lot of people put their fat on the top. But I found with my particular smoker that the fat on the bottom protects the flat from drying out. Because I found that when I put my on the bottom, if I don't put my fat on the bottom, the whole bottom part is like overdone, dried out. So then when I'm cutting it, basically everything else is breaking apart, and that bottom part is like hard leather almost. So the only way to reconstitute that is put it in like some French onion soup. I ain't gonna say no name brands, but like some packets of French onion soup. You let it sit in there, heat up a little bit, and that'll help reconstitute it. But right now, I just want to show y'all what I'm doing to get some of this fat off. Now, like I said, it's been a long time, man. I'm in it to win it. I'm trying to put y'all in it to win it. Show y'all some of my techniques. Now, a lot of people call me a pro. I don't call myself a pro. You shouldn't have to. Other people call yourself a pro. So I don't brag. Everybody brag for me. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just saying a lot of people call me pro. A lot of people say that I'm good at what I do. But I'm only good at what I do from practice and research. So you could be just as good or even better. It's all in my people's nature. Now if you look at this, right? It's a little bloody. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap that up. That's when you're dealing with animal meat. Alright? You wrap that up. I'm going to take it to the garbage and throw it out. I'll be right back. Alright? So, this is the brisket. Now, this is the fat on the brisket. And if you see, this is loose fat. Come get that a little bit. That's loose fat. Alright? That's the stuff you want to kind of take off. You see this part is the meat. Some of this fat, besides the silver skin, if you look at it, they call that silver skin because look at the hue of it. It's different skin. You want to take a little bit of that off, but you want to keep fat going throughout. Now the fat inside is what they call marbling. And if you ever look at like a counter like that, it's called a marble counter. So what you see is different things speckled throughout. That's the same thing with this. The things that's speckled though is the fat. So they call that marbling. You want good marbling because the fat is what keeps the meat moist. So this, if you look at it, just as I could wiggle that other part, I can't wiggle this. If I touch that, it's hard. This is called the decal. The decal, most of the time, look, you can pull off. That's a hump. Decal you can pull off most of the time. Right? It's a hump. You can't squeeze that at all. That part, no matter how much you cook that down, it's going to be hard. You don't want that in your brisket. So when it comes to cutting and trimming, you want to cut that part out. Now if you look close right here, I'm cutting into it. Look, fat on fat, and that's hard. That's hard. Even at thin spots, that's pretty hard. So what you want to do is you want to cut a lot of this decal out because nobody's going to eat that. Alright? So that's just going to mess up your brisket. But you want to cut it out to the point where you're not cutting meat out. Now you may get a little slither of meat. Like look, that ain't going to hurt nobody. Nobody going to be like, oh man, I missed out on that part of the meat. Alright, it's not that serious. But you want to cut into it and basically get all that hard meat out. I mean, the hard fat out. My apologies. So, now at this point, people say you basically cut as much as you want and leave as much as you want. So this, you could be at this trimming for 20 minutes. You could be at this trimming for 5 minutes, or you could be at this trimming for 30, 40 minutes. It's all up to you how much fat you want inside your meat. But remember, fat is flavor. So depending on how much fat you have, depends on how much flavor and how much moisture you have throughout your meat. So when I say, once again, we want to get this decal out, that's the hard part. I want you to see when I'm trimming it, look. Yeah, I may get a little smidgen, but that's not really no meat right there. It's so attached to the decal. So it may look like I'm cutting into this thing crazy, but at the end of the day, I'm getting all the fat out and leaving most of the meat. And if you see, now come in real quick. This is a cavity. So as you see, I just cut into that, right? And you see, it's still not a lot of meat on that. It's a little bit of meat, but that's not going to really hurt or help nobody. But that was a cavity. Look how much fat I just cut out of that. That's a whole rib section. That's what Adam got taken out. Adam got taken out of his part to get Eve out that rib. So that's a whole big section of fat, hard fat, nobody's going to eat. So like I said, even in here, you look. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move on to the soft fat, because you see me with the decal. Now look at that. You keep cutting in, it's in there. It's in there. So what you want to do is keep bringing it out. But like I said, now that you see me taking the decal out, I'm not going to keep you all day. I'm going to move over to, see, that's all fat, hard fat. Look, you can't even squeeze that thing. It's hard fat. But anyway, now I'm going to take you to the soft fat and show you how I trim that up. I already told you a little bit of this silver skin. So what you want to do is, look, real close. So what you do is, you bring your knife right under the skin. You see that? And break it up a little bit. Alright? And as you're breaking it, now you see I'm setting a path underneath that meat with the silver skin. Alright? Then from there, you can start bringing it off. Now you see I just cut that silver skin out. There was a whole line of silver skin here. You see I just cut that out. So that's the silver skin aspect. You come under, one more time. You come under, and then you move it down. And you can cut some of that silver skin off. And the thing about the silver skin is that's tough as well. So what you can do is use a rag to help you with your grip because your fingers are slippery now. But if you don't want to use a rag, you just lift it and then you cut diagonal down kind of into the meat, but not too deep into the meat. You want to keep some meat. You don't want to keep cutting meat off. Meat is the money. You don't want to keep cutting that off. But you can see I'm getting some of that silver skin out. Alright? Getting some of that silver skin out. So, but at the same time, I don't cut too much silver skin because I feel like some silver skin is a protective barrier. I want it about as thick as this right here. So, that way I have a little fat moisture and a little protective barrier. But, you see how much fat I cut off already. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stop the video at a point when I'll show you the different techniques for cutting off some of the fat. And then come back and show you how much fat I actually cut off this thing. So let me flip over now to the soft meat, the soft fat, and show y'all that. Now this is a soft fat. If you look, it's just soft. It's flimsy. Now this fat you only want, they say, about 1/4 inch of fat protecting your meat. Alright? And look, that's all fat. None of that is meat. That's all fat. None of that is meat. Now one piece of meat in that. Look at that. So they say you want about a 1/4 inch of fat on this. Me, 1/4 inch sound about good. But like I said, it's all up to you how much you think you want. I just cut into it until I could. It doesn't have to be lean. I'm a person. I like a little fat. But you just make sure you want to take off some layers until you feel comfortable. But as you cook and go back and forth, you'll start realizing, okay, actually, the way that my smoker is, or the way that I do this, I need more fat on it for certain reasons, or I don't like how dry it was, so I want more fat. And then after it's done cooking, you can take off some of the fat. But to have a fat barrier, you want that. But all the fat is not going to render down. So if all the fat not going to render down, take some of that off. Because you're wasting seasoning. Seasoning is going to be on the fat. And you're going to not eat it. So then what's the point of putting seasoning on it? You want seasoning on the meat that you want to eat. So like I said, you play around with it. A lot of people think cooking is a science. No, cooking not a science. Baking is more of a science. You know what I mean? So as you bake, you want a 1/4 teaspoon of this. Look, as I cook, I'm going to show you. It's not a science. It's all about how you like it. Flavoring. So, but anyway, as you see, I'm just cutting into it. One more time, get in this a little bit. I'm cutting into it, taking off the fat. You know what I mean? So, and just in talking to you, like I said, you could be at this for days, for hours, just cutting, trimming, slicing real thin, or taking hunks out to the point where you like, all right, now that's good enough. But if you look right here, this part is a decent amount of fat. I might take a little slither of that off, but this is a decent amount of fat to coat my meat. But I still cut that off on this part and still have enough fat to coat my meat. So that's what I'm saying. Like I said, it's all up to you on how you feel. But you definitely don't want too much, but you don't want too little to where your meat is going to dry out. You got to think. When you in the tub for an hour, you get wrinkly, pruny, and you start soaking up that water. You got to think osmosis, right? Osmosis is a fancy word meaning that basically your body wants to, the environment wants to even out, right? So if you got a tub full of water, then your body wants to equal out, so to be an equilibrium. It's the same thing with this. So as they start cooking for hours and hours and hours, it wants to equal out. But if the environment is dry, this is going to be dry, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing of how that works. I mean, I broke it down. It may not be the best example how I broke it down, but I broke it down to how this basically is going to work. You want the fat to help season the flavor. And then once again, look how thick of fat I'm taking off right here. And it's still a thick layer of fat. I'm not even seeing the meat. I see a little pink redness of the meat right there. But as you can see, it's not even to the point where I'm seeing the meat like that. So, like I said, you want to be at this basically until you feel comfortable. I'm not going to give you a certain measurement and how much meat. How you really going to measure how much fat is left on the meat? You going to go around with a ruler? No, you're not. So, let's get this going. I'm going to come back and show you how much fat I actually cut off this 16 point something pound, almost 17 pounds. But as you see, I'm just cutting it. And I didn't even get into it. And you see how much fat I cut off of this thing. So this is not going to be nowhere near 16 pounds. It's probably going to be like 13 pounds when it's all said and done. I'm probably going to cut off 3 pounds of fat. So come back. We'll see how this go. I smell the wood from the smoker. It smells delicious. I'm going to try this seasoning in my hand first. Wash my hand and put this seasoning in before I put it on. And we're going to try that all-purpose barbecue. And we might do something crazy. We'll let you know. But come back. You know, I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to show you. And I don't mind teaching you and showing you. Because nobody do it like me. So come back and let me know how it's going. Alright. So, we back. Got my seasonings. Got my barbecue. I ain't getting paid for endorsement. Got that. But just showing you now. Look at this pile of fat right here. I already cleaned off my hands. You can see the knife back clean again. That's water. But look at this pile of fat right here. I'm going to take a little bit more out here. I just want to see, let y'all see the final cuts. I'm taking a little bit more of this decal out. That's decal. You can tell because it's the hard fat. But look at that. We just keep trimming into that for days. So, but that's good right there. Take a little bit of that out. And what I'm about to do, wash my hands off one more time. Look what I do for y'all. Look what I do for y'all. Done touched the meat again when I just washed my hands. But that's alright though. So, but all I want to do is wash my hands again so that way I can touch the bottles so I can season the meat up. But also, look at this. Look at all this fat. That's straight fat. You can't tell me there's not at least 2-3 pounds of fat right there. Look at how honky that is. How honky that is. That's at least about a good 2-3 pounds of fat. Not including the stuff that I already threw out. So, but what I'm going to do is, that's one side of the brisket. This the other side of the brisket. You can see I trimmed a lot of that down. Got a couple fat pockets holding it. Let me wash off my hands. Gotta have soap, boy. Well, anyway, hold on. Had to soap it. Gotta paper towel it. Gotta do it all. Think of the game. Gotta toss it. Gotta sit it. Gotta do it. But anyway. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to try this barbecue right here. All-purpose barbecue. Now usually I use my own seasoning. Probably just like this garlic pepper. So I would just do salt, pepper, and garlic. Equal parts of everything. Texas style is just salt and pepper. When you get to certain parts of Texas, it's just straight salt and pepper. Equal parts, 50-50. Kansas City style, you know, they use more of a sweet like this with a little brown sugar inside their rib. They use a lot of sugar over there. One piece of meat may get about a half a pound of sugar. They got it glazed, turning mahogany. But what I want to do is I actually want to taste that. I want to taste that. Smells delicious. I ain't gonna lie to you. That thing smells about right. Alright, so here's where I'm going with this. That's tasty. That's real tasty, actually. It has, from the spot that I got. Let me do one more. Let me do one more. Just to make sure. Okay. The first one I got Hold on real quick. Tasted more salt than anything. The second one I just got, I got that sweet of brown sugar in it, but not too sweet. I think that's going to be a good rub. But it does, I don't know if the first taste of the salt made it really salty. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a light rub on that and put that out there. Now what I want to do is I want to put something on my meat to make it stick. A lot of times, you know what? I don't even need that. I'm going to show y'all the traditional way. So, now what I normally put is that garlic, salt, and pepper. Now, hold on, let me see if this got garlic. It has garlic, so I'm not going to put extra garlic with the pepper. I'm going to use this rub, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top. Now, the trick to doing this is, right, you want to hold it about up here and sprinkle it. You see that? Now, what that does is produce an even layer. You see that? Come in close a little bit. That's a nice even layer of seasoning. Actually, what I am going to do is I am going to use that garlic pepper and put a little bit more garlic pepper after this. But come up here. You want it nice and coated. Right? This is a huge piece of meat. So you want it nice and coated. Right? So I have to do some sweeping after this. And even the piece that I cut out to give that cavity, I want some seasoning in there. Right? So this is why you buy the big seasonings, or you make big amounts of your seasoning blend, because you're going to use a big amount for a big piece of meat. Right? So that's good right there. That's nice and coated. Right? Let's sprinkle some in my drink. That's all right. A little barbecue drink. There ain't nothing to it. Little barbecue would do it. Let me see. Yeah, that's Kansas City. Let me talk about with y'all. Let me do this. Come on, sprinkle that. Nice even coat. You see that? Now what I'm doing is I'm putting my hand here because I wanted to kind of hit the edges. So as it sprinkles and hit me, look, let me show you. All right, and I'm putting it on the meat. You see, I'm putting it on the meat. You see it sprinkling my hand? So it's hitting my hand. So if I put my hand here, it bounces back to the edge of the meat. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach you along the way. Listen, you can lead a man to fish. What? To the pond? Give him a fishing rod. Oh no! Fish it! I can't make it catch it. I just made that up. Let's go with it. But yeah, that's a nice little coating right there. And then what I'm going to do is go back, add a little bit more of this. I ain't even used this, open this yet. Let's open that. I'm opening it live on camera. That's how bold I am. Live and direct. And it broke. But that's okay. It's cooking, man. You have fun when you cook, man. You see, I have fun. Ain't no rhyme or reason. The boy crazy. But that's because I like crazy flavor. I get enjoyment out of seeing people eat and say, oh man, that was delicious. And if it's not delicious, tell me it's not delicious. Tell me, nah, man, I don't know what you was thinking. Oregano with Pepsi and coffee beans, don't go. Of course, I ain't gonna do that, but I'm just giving you an example. You know what I mean? So I'm just showing you, that's a nice piece. Actually, get in close right here. Get in close right there before I do anything else. So you gotta, you know, touching is believing. So, look at that. That's a nice coating. Nice coating of seasoning. So let me add a little bit more. This is going to be a hint. Just a hint more. So I'm going to come up here, put a hint more. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put it as thick as I did the other one. So, move that to the side. Move that to that side. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to do. Oh, man, that smells right, though. You know what I mean? That smells right, though. What's in this? Garlic, salt, black. Oh, more salt. I didn't think it was salt. All right. But look, since I just put a little sprinkle, you know what I mean? I patted it in. I don't think it's going to be too salty. You know what I mean? Maybe if I take a lick. I ain't taking no lick. But it's all right, though. We're going to see. The other side, come up. I ain't going to do this thick as I did the other one. And then I'm going to... like that. That's all I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Get in here. Bow! Just spread that right quick. That's what I just did with that. And this is seasoned. So what I'm going to do now. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to hit that hard right there. I apologize. It's okay. It's okay. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this boy to the grill. This thing about right. You see, this is more the meat side. Looking, that thing look good before I cook it. Listen, let me tell you something. It's something special about that. It's something special about that. Look at that, look at that. Look. Now, in fact, that's good. Little tidbit. Little tidbit on the tag. Little tidbit on the tag. Get around that. Bring that in. Blow, splow, splow. Now, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's seasoning right there. You know, sometimes I gotta put myself outside. Keep the inside voice on before I put myself outside. But anyway, this season, you don't want to season too long before you put it in the grill. You know what? I'm hitting you with so much tidbits of knowledge. Now what I'm going to do is, because I use these two, I'm going to wipe that off with some paper towel, rinse it off a little bit. Beef is not as cautionary as they do for like pork or they do for chicken. But, you know, because that'll give you salmonella, pork. We ain't going to get in that, boy. But, you know, it is what it is. I just want to show y'all this fat, show y'all the seasoning process. This thing is so seasoned that I don't even know what to say about it. Look, I don't want to keep tapping it because I don't want to take the seasoning off, but it's so nice, it makes you want to do it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this out. Grill about right. Roll that up like a taco. You know what I mean? We're going to head on out. Hit you with the flip view. Now as we head on out, we gonna lift that for me, girl. Lift that for me, girl. So look, that's good looking grill. That's good looking grill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that down. You hear that little sizzle? Did you hear the little? You heard the sizzle. You heard the sizzle. I'm gonna tuck that in, right? Good night, sweet brisket. Well, it's time to cook. Do. I don't got the copyrights to that. I don't got the copyrights. No, don't hit me for nothing. I know it sounds just like it though. They gonna be like, boy, did you just take that from? I ain't got the copyrights. But I'm gonna tuck that back. The reason I'm gonna tuck that back is because I'm about to make some burgers. I'm about to make some mac and cheese. I'm about to make some cornbread. Now the mac and cheese and cornbread is going with this. I know, it's going with this. But the burger is we're gonna have tonight, because it's gonna take some hours. Look at my temperature. About 200 degrees. 2 spaghettis. Giggity goose. Brisket in there nice and right. Pull this down. This is so, I don't even know what's going on with it, but it's nice and right. And we're gonna be good. We're gonna have some stuff going. And we're gonna go from there. I'll come back and show y'all the progress of this. Excuse me. I'll come back and show you the progress of this. I'll come back and show y'all the progress of the burgers, which I ain't gonna take y'all through. A burger is a burger, but on the grill is something different. So I'm gonna take y'all through the process of that, just show you the update of the burger. And the update of the mac and cheese, update of the cornbread. But I ain't gonna take y'all through every step. The point of this is that briscotti. That's a new word. Briscotti. That mean the brisket. I don't know. You can come up with it. Hit me in the inbox. Hit me down below with the comments. Let me know what it's gonna be. Because I don't know what biscotti is. You know what I mean? I was watching an episode of The Office. He said, "Bo body. Tell me what it means." Tell me what it means. Briscotti. Tell me what it means. We're going to come up with that. So let's go. Holla at me, Doc Flava. You ready? All right. Well, I guess we go. All right. So what you didn't see last night is around 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, no. It must have been around 12, I think. So after about 6 hours of me having it on, I fell asleep, took a little power nap, like Baby Boss. And then, Boss Baby. And then wrapped this thing in foil. And if you feel it, actually this thing's still warm. That's the crazy part. So I wrapped it in foil, put it back on the grill, took it off around 3:30. Right? So around 4, closer to 4. And then I wrapped it. I couldn't find a towel. So I used some old shorts. They clean. I wrapped it, put it in the oven just to let it sit. My cooler is downstairs. You usually wrap it, put it in the cooler. So, but this thing smells delicious. So what I'm about to do is slice a couple pieces, put it in a box with a little accoutrement. A little fancy for you. But put it in a box with a little accoutrement. So I'm going to show you what it looked like. We're about to have a reveal, unwrap. So let's go. Take that, toss that in the wash. Pull out the knife. I smell it. But it's nice and warm though. It's nice and warm still. But I had to wrap it numerous times because the foil I got was short. So it wasn't, I should have got the wider one. But that's what we're gonna do. So unwrap this for you. Let's have it reveal. See what's going on with it. Look at that. That's what you want to see. You want to see that nice, pliable softness. Right? Still unwrapping this. It's like one of them presents. You don't want to. Look at that juice. Look at that juice. Already. Look. Oh man. Okay, so once again, this is the flat. That's the point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out. Move it to the side a little bit. Look at that. That's just, oh my goodness, you see it's falling apart. I'm just putting it here so I can cut it. I want to flip it though. Oh man, that thing's falling right. Leave that there though. I'm gonna wrap it back when I cut it. So, just to separate, that thing looking right. So just to separate it, that's the point. This is the flat. So you want to go under. Never mind. You just do this, pick it up, and take it off. That's all you do. This thing might be, I'm only rinsing it off so I don't make everything so meat crazy. But you want to go against the grain. Alright? So you see the grain of the meat is flowing this way. Right? So what you want to do is you want to cut against it. So if it's flowing this way, you're cutting it this way. Alright? So, let's take off, oh my goodness. That's butter, baby. Okay. Alright? So cutting them. Oh man. Now, what I'm going to do is, and like I told you before when I was cooking this, one part became so hard, I didn't really want to, I had to reconstitute it. But what I'm going to do is, pull that off. You see, that's falling apart. You want it to be able to, this is one of the perfect slices. You want it to be able, well, I just ripped it, but to be still whole, but it comes apart easy. And you can see inside, that's juice inside. So that's not dry at all. So actually, let me get a little taste. I like a little bit part of the fat part. So let me cut right here. Alright. I like that part. Right there. That's one of my parts. I really like the point, but I don't want to cut into that yet. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So it holds up on its own, right? But it pulls apart. That's one of the most perfect, almost perfect piece of brisket cooked. And like I said, when you squeeze it, you can see the juice start to come out. That thing right. So let me take a little bite, see what it's working with. All right. That's right. The only thing I would change about it, because I would change something about it, is some of this seasoning is delicious, but I will actually use more seasoning than what I did. The cook is perfect, but I might finish it off with a little bit of punch of that seasoning. So if you want a little bit more, a lot of people, when they do a huge hunks of meat like that, is in restaurants they put it's called finishing salt. So you put a pinch of finishing salt on it. But the process is perfect. I like the flavor of the seasoning. And what I'm gonna do is, here, so I'm putting a care package together for somebody. Give them a little brisket. Delicious. And what I'm gonna do is, for the care package, is let me show you how to finish this off. This is, oh man, that's a lot right there. That's about a $12 plate right there, at least. That's a good $12 plate. But what I'm gonna do for the care package is this. This is a little herb and garlic butter. Take some of that, right? And what you want to do is pour a little bit of that on it. Just a couple drips. All right? And then finish it with a little bit of this all-purpose barbecue that I put on it. Just a little dab of do you. Now look at that thing. Now look at that thing. So, once again, got that in there. A little accoutrement of some food. And that brisket right. This is what I do. So holler at me. Put in the comment section how you do it different. Let me know what you think about it. Try the recipe out. I mean, it's easy stuff. I did it so that everybody have access to it. Gave you the ingredients of the spices so everybody have access to it. Tell me what you do different in the comments. And tell me what you like about it, but what you may change. If nothing, let me know. Holler at me. Just dark flavor in your mouth. Got put a little flavor in your mouth. Take it easy.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
Thanks for watching. Make sure that you check out some of my other videos. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe.